Hi, my name is Morgan, and I'm going to take you today through a 10-minute mat workout. I think sometimes we think we need to have fancy props or 30, 45 minutes to get started in our fitness journey, but that's simply not true. Today we're going to go over some basic Pilates exercises and then a little bit of a more contemporary variation of each of them. And these are things that you can do with just the mat at your house. And we're going to get started. So we're going to start laying down on our backs. I do prefer a mat, so you're not sitting on a hard surface, but it's totally up to you. You just want to make sure you feel supported when laying flat. One of the first things you want to master here is simply breath. It may sound tedious or stupid, but it's actually extremely important. So first things first, to breathe properly, I want to have the right alignment. I'm going to align the crown of my head to my tailbone in a straight line, which is also known as the midline of your body. Once you feel evened out, we want to go into what we call a neutral spine. A neutral spine means shoulder blades and tailbone are lined up. Shoulder blades and tailbone are heavy. There may be a little bit of space between the middle of your back and the floor. That's okay. That's the natural curve of your spine. That is our neutral spine position. If you have any type of lower back injury, including bulging or herniated discs, you may want to consider going into an imprint spine. An imprint spine is a flat back, so instead of having this space, I push my back flat. My tailbone is barely touching down now, and my core is a whole lot more active. Okay, so if you need to protect that low back, that's the position to stay in. Otherwise, we're going to go into that neutral position. Holding it here. I want to make sure my shoulders are open away from the ceiling and my collarbone is open. With that posture, I begin to take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. When you breathe this way, it doesn't have to be a heavy exhale. Instead, it's a long exhale. Here's how to accomplish that. I want to exhale like I'm fogging up a mirror, relaxing my jaw, relaxing my eyebrows, and relaxing my shoulders as I let that breath out. Think about fogging up a mirror. You don't blow like you're blowing a bubble. You relax the jaw and you just let that breath float out at a nice, steady, even pace. Let your goal be to inhale 5 seconds. Exhale 7 seconds. It's okay if you don't reach these times, but work toward that, working on increasing lung capacity. Simply the ability to bring breath in and out of your lungs. Just take a few moments here. Think about what's happening. As you inhale, you're contracting your diaphragm, a dome-shaped muscle at the base of your ribs. To do that, I'm going to inhale to the back of my rib cage. Think about inhaling to the floor or the mat behind you. Past the collarbone on that inhale. Inhale through the back of your body. On your exhale, exhale through the front. 2 major things are happening here. 1, a natural pelvic floor lift. That doesn't mean I'm lifting my butt up. It just means the muscles in my pelvic floor are gently lifting closer to my belly. The other thing is going to be activation of my upper abdominals. So when I exhale, my ribs close because I'm deflating my lungs. So I'm going to flex my abs and knit my ribs together on that exhale. So imagine inhaling to the back of the ribs, exhaling using your pubic bone all the way up to your 5th rib, so your full front. Let that breath just flow back and forth. Next, we're going to go into bridging. Okay, so in my proper bridge, my knees are bent, my feet are flat. I want to connect to both my heels and my toes. There's 2 versions. Today we're going to just do the hinge bridge. The other version is articulation bridge. We'll get into that another time. So first things first, I want to connect to my palms. I want to connect to my triceps, which is the back of my arms. I want to connect to my shoulder blades. Okay, shoulder blades, I want to pull them together at the base, so the bottom, not the top, and press them gently into the mat, relaxing my neck and the back of my head. Opening your shoulders and collarbone, keep that nice posture that we just practiced while breathing. Now, I want to plant my feet firm, take an inhale, exhale, don't lift your butt, but instead, feel your pelvis rock forward and back. A pelvic rock, it's just your pubic bone coming toward the belly button and away from the belly button. When I come toward the belly button, I'm going to exhale. When I go away from the belly button, I inhale. Start to activate that tailbone as well. Think about if you had a blueberry under your tailbone. Okay, when you inhale, press the pubic bone away from your belly, squish the blueberry. When you exhale, bring the pubic bone toward the belly button and lift off of the blueberry. Back and forth. So what you're doing essentially is waking up that lower back. Okay, now next time I pull my pelvis toward my belly button and lift off the blueberry, I'm going to squeeze my butt cheeks together, for lack of a better term. So squeeze your glutes equally towards your tailbone. And then from there, I'm going to lift my button back straight off the mat at the same time, and then lower back down. What you want to think about, are your hips totally straight? Are you still connected to those shoulder blades, palms, and triceps? Okay, once you feel pretty stable here, think about your breath. Let's inhale at the bottom to prepare. Exhale to lift. Inhale to hold it at the top. Exhale to lower. That's a long repetition. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Inhale. Exhale to lower. And just go through that a few times. Work on your alignment. Work on feeling your glutes, your hamstrings, your feet, your palms, the back of your arms, the back of your shoulders. Something to keep in mind also, you have muscles, they're really skinny and long. They line the vertebrae of your spine to stabilize your vertebrae. Those are active during your bridge as well. So it's important to connect to your back. Make sure that back stays stable. Again, I'm lifting straight up. When I reach my high point, I don't want to feel like I'm hyperextending. When you're hyperextending, it's when your pelvis comes up. See how my back is almost in an arch? I don't want to do that. I want to stop here in this neutral position and then lower back down with control. That's a lot of stuff to think about for just one exercise. So continue to go through all of those things as you lower and lift. If you'd like to begin to speed it up, you can exhale up, inhale down. You don't have to. If you like the slow version, go slow. If you like the quicker version, go quicker. Just make sure you're connecting to your breath and your full body in this bridge. Good, last one. Hold it at the top and pulse it up an inch, down an inch. Good. When you pulse up an inch, try not to hyperextend the back. So really what I should have said is take it down an inch, up an inch from that neutral position, if that makes sense. Good. And slowly bring it down. Okay, next, I'm going to bring my fingertips behind my ears. Think about what we just did. We rocked back and forth and we got that lower part of our spine moving, and then we got that full body stable exercise. Let's think about our upper portion of our spine. Now, it's really common to feel your neck when you do chest lift or when you do crunches. Myself included, I used to feel my neck all the time. I also have an old neck injury and it flares up, so sometimes I can't lift my head. Okay, so let's go step by step, and that proper crunch, or what we call it chest lift in Pilates, just working on our form, and then I'll go over things you can do if your neck doesn't like to lift. Okay, so fingertips behind the ears. First, open up your chest and elbows so your collarbone is wide. Set that good posture. If you're like me and you work heavy shoulders, your shoulders might be a little tight. This can be a little difficult. You might find yourself coming slightly in with the elbows. That's fine, as long as you're not leading with the elbows like this, because that's going to cause you to bend your neck. Okay, next, I want to pretend I have a tennis ball under my chin. Sometimes I'll even put an actual tennis ball under my chin. Why? The purpose is so that you're not rounding your neck, nor are you lifting it, straining the neck. Instead, you want to feel like your neck is pretty straight. So imaginary tennis ball under the chin, the tennis ball stays there the whole time. I think that's really, really important in chest lift. I've had a fellow instructor before say, fist under the chin, okay? And you can practice that a couple times, just feeling the fist under the chin. That's kind of the distance you want. I teach tennis ball, a little smaller, but that's just based on your neck, right? So it just depends on where that placement goes. I have a client who she prefers more of an orange under the chin because of the length of her neck. So just think about a flat neck and having a space between your chin and your chest that stays even the whole time without actually rounding the neck or tucking the chin, okay? Taking a deep breath, exhale, begin to roll bone by bone up until your shoulder blades lift off the mat, and then inhale to come back down, lengthening your spine into that neutral position. When I exhale, I pull the belly in, round the back, and begin to roll up. Inhale to release, going back to neutral. And let's just get a few in. Work on the neck placement, the chin placement, keeping those elbows wide. You also want to make sure you're not shrugging the shoulders. So it's good to connect to the base of the shoulder blades just like earlier. So connect to the behind instead of the front. When you guys lift, pull your belly up and in. Inhale to let it go. Just a few more. And take this next one halfway. Pulse the chest up an inch, down an inch. Good, and bring it down. I probably lied. I'm going to go longer than 10 minutes as we're already at 12. So it's going to be more like 15 minutes. My mistake. Okay, now after we've just done that, here's an exercise you can do with or without a chest lift. I actually love it without the chest lift. So not all of us can lift our head, neck, and chest. I've been there. It took me a long time to get back to being able to lift my chest. It's frustrating, but there are options to get your core without lifting the chest. So I'm going to lift my feet off the mat one at a time into what we call tabletop. My knees line up over my hips. My heels line up to my knees. Then I flex my toes. So it's like I'm paralleling the bottom of my foot to the wall my feet are facing. Okay? Sometimes simply holding this is a challenge on its own. So first, just get a good feel for this position. Belly button back to spine, ribs together. You don't want to feel too much pressure on your hip flexors. If you do, maybe relax the feet, or you can lower the heels just a little bit. Okay? Now, when I'm here, when we say belly button back to spine, think about if someone held a candle to your belly button, pretend it doesn't have wax. So don't worry about wax dripping, but a candle right over your belly button. You're going to want to pull your belly button away from the flame of the candle without using the rest of your body. I know that's kind of confusing, but I'm just using my stomach to pull away from the candle flame. This will come with practice and time, so don't feel discouraged if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay? Bring your legs together so your feet are touching knees and thighs. Okay, we're going to straighten the legs and then bend the knees. Straighten the legs, bend the knees. Good. You could always add a progression of holding your chest up. Your eye gaze would be at your knees. You still want to have that space under your chin. You don't have to add the chest lift. That's just an option. Okay? Lastly, I'm going to keep my knees bent and then straighten just the right leg. Point the toe, lower halfway down, lift it back up, keeping your left hip and knee lined up to the ceiling, keeping the right hip lined up to the ceiling. Pull your belly in. I'm not touching the floor. Here's why. If I come down, my back is going to arch up off the mat way too much. I want to keep that small gap between my back the whole time. Okay? In fact, I like to go into, in a little bit more advanced version, a totally flat back. If you want to try it, completely flatten the back, lower and lift the leg. This is called imprint spine. You typically don't go as low with the leg when you're in imprint, and that's okay. So it's a little bit more core engagement. Okay, I'm not trying to confuse you, but you can either have your back flat or have a little space, but you do not want to have a big space between the middle of your back and the mat. So pick which one feels better, and then simply bend the right knee, switch, point the left toes, lower and lift here. Breathe, try not to hold the breath. Again, exhale on exertion, depends on where that exertion is for you. For me, I like to inhale up, exhale down. I think about inhaling and lengthening my leg up. Exhale to hold that leg and bring it back up. Good, bend both knees back, put them on the floor, and that's it. So what I would recommend is going through this video 2 to 3 times in a row, just practicing these exercises. And once you feel like you have them down, maybe at your own pace, do them by yourself, doing maybe like 4 sets of 12 repetitions of each exercise. That can be the goal. But what I do sometimes when I'm using a video to work out, I'll just put the video on repeat as many times as I want to actually do the exercise. Sometimes I will watch a video 4 times in a row, and then that gives me that nice full workout where I'm just hyper-focused on the exercises I'm looking for. So today we did that bridge exercise. Well, we started with breath, and then we did bridge exercise. We did chest lift, and then we did that long lever challenge, single-legged, laying on our back. So just go through these. Hopefully this helps you feel a little bit stronger, helps you feel good. I think it's a really good way to start that fitness journey, and these exercises will help you find that strength and stability. All right, see you guys next time.